Hello, I'm John Shepherd, and in this video we're going to take a specific look at the long jump takeoff and in particular at the last 3 steps. In doing so, we'll be looking at research from World Athletics on elite male jumpers and also some of my jumpers using various drills and looking specifically at how they can improve their takeoff. Hopefully, this analysis will help you and your jumping and improve your takeoff too. Okay, let's specifically take a look at what happens over the last 3 steps. Although prone to some variation, it's more or less the case that the penultimate step will be the longest and the last step will be the shortest. There'll also be some lowering of the centre of mass on the penultimate step. And that is an area of discussion for many coaches, i.e. how much should you lower and set the jump up. Now this centre of mass lowering transfers into the takeoff itself, and on the right hand end of this table you'll see how much these elite jumpers lower their centre of mass on the takeoff stride. However, as noted, this carries on through from the penultimate step. It could be argued that those jumpers who get greater vertical velocity at takeoff lower more than those who don't. Juan Miguel Echeverria being a typical example of a very vertically dominant jumper in terms of speeds at takeoff. In the next slide coming up, you'll see how much the takeoff leg actually bends on takeoff and also what's known as knee negative angular velocity, i.e. the speed of flexing of the knee at takeoff. One example, Luva Mayonga hits the board with a lower angle at the knee compared to Lawson, for example, but actually has a lesser range of motion decrease on takeoff. This to me indicates that he's using more vertical velocity, which is backed up by the research. He has 3.68 meters per second of vertical velocity compared to Lawson's 3.51 meters. And it's probably because of his deeper knee bend and lowering at takeoff why his speed decreases more than Lawson, who obviously brings in more speed to the takeoff, being a faster jumper in the first place. So what does all this mean for we athletes and coaches wanting to improve the long jump takeoff? Well, we have to train specifically to improve that takeoff and work on our natural strengths and weaknesses as a jumper in terms of how we express power, how we use our speed as we travel through those last 3 steps. It's crucial to get that correct rhythm and step placement, so it's a 4-foot strike on the third, a flat foot positioning on the penultimate, and then a heel-led strike on the takeoff. I personally like athletes to bring as much speed as they can through the last 3 steps and not to overly prepare for the takeoff. If you're a very quick jumper, then you really want to maximize your speed off of the board rather than try to set too much to gain more height. If your hips are lower on the 3rd step out, then you're going to go down into the takeoff rather than maintain as best as you can your hip height and therefore preserve as much speed as you can. This is Tajay Gayle, the Doha World Championship winner prior to that competition, but he shows some great speed indoors, albeit on this truncated jump. There's hardly any setting or noticeable setting as he comes through to the takeoff, and there's a lot of speed coming off of the board. However, as usual, it's never quite that simple, in that the qualities that you have as a jumper do affect your takeoff. So, Ivana Spanovic, who I've talked about quite a few times in my videos over the years, takes off with her foot pushed out in front of her more so than would be recommended in the classical biomechanics texts. This, I believe, reflects 1. Her superior eccentric ability, the ability to gain greater vertical takeoff velocity compared to many other female jumpers, and also due to an analysis by her coach Goran Obradovic, who looked into how that particular method of takeoff can produce a superior landing position. In a forthcoming video in the coach member area of my channel, I'm going to go into a lot more detail about how you can analyse the specifics of the long jump takeoff and play some of the video that I recorded at the European Jumps Convention where Goran explained why he changed the mechanics of Ivana's takeoff. However, returning to the practical, as I've said, you need to work over and over again on your takeoff and the correct positioning. You also need to work on your power at the takeoff, and there are various drills that you can do to improve this, and I'll cover those more in detail in another video. I can't stress over and over again how important it is to keep working on your takeoff power and your takeoff positioning. In doing so, you'll give yourself every opportunity to jump as far as you optimally can. So many jumpers fail to effect a proper optimized takeoff and therefore lose distance. As usual, thanks for watching, and do subscribe to the channel and leave any comments you may have in the section below or through my other social media. If I can, I hope to get some more videos out over the Christmas period, for example on athlete testing and also on some more sports tech devices that I've been lucky enough to try out, such as this MyBody EMS machine. I've also been producing a further issue of the Jumper magazine, so do look out for that just prior to Christmas also. And as I mentioned in the video, please do consider becoming a channel member. Hello, I'm John Shepherd and I'm going to talk to you about channel memberships. At the moment I've set up 2 levels, channel supporter and athlete and coach member. Now, if you become a channel supporter, you're doing just that. For just £1.99 a month, you're going to help me produce the content that's hopefully helped you become a better athlete or a coach. As a coach athlete member, I've responded to a lot of the comments that I've had over the years since setting up the channel, whereby you guys want to delve into deeper levels the subject matters that we cover on the main channel. So for example, coaches want to know more about periodization, training planning, and how you can develop a young athlete. In time, I hope to introduce some other levels of membership on the channel, for example, one just exclusively aimed at athletes, whereby I'll produce training plans and training programs. One thing I do want to add is that I'll still be producing the normal channel content, usually uploaded on a Friday, and that's still going to be for free. Now, this is going to be a bit of a trial and error process, and I do want to get your feedback on what I produce and on what I'm doing